Have you ever wanted to see the most physically fit people imaginable going up against each other in a battle of strength, power, agility, and skill? Physical 100 made me realize that I had an inner primal urge to be entertained by seeing people of different physiques battle it out in ultimate tests of strength. Seeing peak physiques brawl out against one another really brought out the testosterone within me. So Physical 100 is a TV competition type show where 100 Korean men and women take part in a Squid Game type elimination battle to determine the last one standing. The winner of the entire competition will win 300 million won, the equivalent to about 300,000 Singaporean dollars. And what makes this show so effective is the direct goal of being stronger than your competitor. If you're stronger, you win money, and if not, you lose and you're weaker. Very concrete results that even the contestants can't really argue against. But as you'll soon see, strength is a lot more than just brute force. The show starts in a meeting hall. It feels grand as you see all these busts of people in peak human physical condition organized neatly around the room in circles. And from the get-go, you can see that these contestants were not just any regular fitspo you would see on Instagram. No, most of these people are part of the elite in their craft. We have Olympians, bodybuilders, dancers, MMA fighters, strongmen, crossfitters, wrestlers, rugby players, firemen, special force members. Like it was an ultimate battle to the death amongst the best of the best in the Colosseum. And one thing is for certain, they are strong AF. There were some notable contestants including MMA fighter Chu Sang-hoon, the father of Sarang in that very cute baby show named Return of Superman, Yoo Sung-bin, a gold medalist in the skeleton in the Winter Olympics, and Eun-ji, this absolute beast of a woman that's a wrestler. We also have hyun-seung, the dancer that appeared in Singles Inferno Season 1. And these were people that could probably rip me a new orifice with their bare hands. All of them take part in their first challenge, where the winner would be able to secure a huge advantage for themselves in the later stages. For the first challenge, all they had to do was hang on a bar for as long as possible. Yeah, that's it. Sounds basic, right? I never knew such a thing could be so entertaining. The countdown begins and they all grab onto the bar and held this position where they mounted the bar under their folded arms. It is here that we learn that Korean Netflix shows have a serious case of unlimited budget for their production, as the entire metal structure lifts all of them up. The ground beneath them begins to open, with fog rising out of it. It reveals a depth of water. No one was going to be able to avoid falling inside of it, but the least they could do was be the one that hits the water last. Minutes go by and most of the strong men, who were way heavier than others, started dropping in first, demonstrating that strength isn't just bigger numbers, and it comes in many different forms. More people start dropping in and we get a final duel between the men in the Special Forces and an ex-Olympic gymnast, Hak-son. Eventually, Special Forces man wins out, but when we go to the rankings in the next stage, we learn that he wasn't actually first place. That prestigious position goes to Min Cho, an ice climber and someone that works on the Bukhansan Mountain Rescue Team. The diversity on this show is just crazy. After the pull-up bar challenge, they are ranked from 1 to 100 and they place the top 50 at the top deck, with the bottom 50 at the bottom level. I can just imagine people's egos getting hurt by that obvious display of visual hierarchy. The next round is a 1v1 elimination battle where 50% of the entire cast would be eliminated from the competition. The top 50 get to choose their opponent, and they will battle in either arena A or B to see who is holding the ball by the end of 3 minutes. This isn't just a battle to advance or win money, it's also a battle of egos. Choosing a weaker candidate as one of the stronger members might make it easier for you, but that isn't really fun and not exactly the best things to do for your pride. Some people might even perceive it as backing down from other competitors in a not picking someone your own size type decision. And this will definitely not garner you any brownie points for your reputation amongst these prestigious athletic men and women. And what ensued was some of the most brutal, primal, and also non-lethal battles I've seen that's not MMA or any sports where you're intentionally hurting each other. These biggest men and women were placing each other in headlocks, hurling one another around with wrestling and jiu-jitsu techniques, and a particularly brutal battle saw one MMA fighter totally incapacitate a female bodybuilder simply by placing his knee on her stomach and adding in some taunting for good measure. And Nam Kyung-jin, the wrestler, literally just suplexes this prison guard who was way bigger than him. It really got me riled up, and honestly, I felt pumped to go into the arena to battle them. But also, I think I'll probably be just as effective as a wet noodle if I actually did compete against any of them. In the other arena, we also get to see some unique battles. Some of the lighter competitors thought that going up against some of the more burly men would be easier because they would be slower and they could simply just run away for the whole 3 minutes. But that also meant that if they lost the ball, they would be in this massive disadvantage as the bigger competitors would be able to fend them off easily. And it's really interesting seeing the numerous strategies come into play. This massive dude managed to actually get the ball and pretty much just camped to the ball in the corner for the duration of 3 minutes, forcing the leaner competitor to go up against him in a direct head-to-head tussle. Losers will also have to go through this humiliating and I guess partly inspiring process of destroying their own bust if they get eliminated from the competition. A direct representation of saying that my physique is not good enough, and it's surprisingly more emotional than I thought. After narrowing down to 50 participants, they head into this divine location for fitness people, a room full of protein and workout equipment. Just look at how all of them brightened up when they saw all this protein. The next challenge is a team battle and they had to split into 10 groups. Leaders were elected based on how much the other contestants wanted to be on their team. And in 10th place, we actually had the female wrestler eun-sil. In this bit, contestants had to choose their leader. Leaders were to call access members and these contestants were to do the walk of shame and go to the supposedly weaker teams. And there's an obvious power disparity between the top and bottom groups as stronger team leaders chose physically more imposing contestants, with many of the leaner and women athletes having to join the lower ranked teams. What's worse is that these higher ranked teams will be able to choose their opponent. The second quest involves contestants working with one another to move sand from a sand pit into the container, with the winning team being the one that's the most sand at the end of 12 minutes. The course between the sand pit and container includes a flight of stairs and a rickety bridge that had to be constructed by each team. This challenge was going to require more than brute strength. It will also need agility, balance, and speed. Our first match is between the second ranked team and the last place team. There's an obvious huge difference in physique as the last place team had 3 female members and were just generally physically way smaller, with the episode being aptly titled Underdogs. This was going to be a massive uphill battle. It begins and the underdogs are off to a good start as the national gymnast deploys a much faster method of building the bridge than the other team. We see them get a head start in dumping sand into their container, but that lead is quickly compensated by the fact that the other team could carry much more sand in each bag per trip. It's a grueling watch as they go back and forth like a bunch of worker ants, and the fatigue gradually piles up as they make each trip. Their steps become heavy as they slog through walking up the flight of stairs. Their breathing gets laboured as they shovel sand with their bare hands into the sacks. Despite the power difference, this was a closer match than we thought. They make the final trips and the battle ends. Each team comes together and hold hands as they wait for the result. The leaders step onto the flimsy bridge, and as they announce the result, the episode ends. When this show popped up on the front page of my Netflix screen, I was not expecting it to be this good. It literally does feel like a real-life Squid Game, except they aren't dying at the end of each challenge. And really, what makes this show so effective is the very direct nature of the challenges and theme. If you're stronger, you advance, which makes it easy to understand for the audience, and we can solely focus on how the games play out. As of recording this video, episodes 5 and 6 should be coming out tomorrow, so I am really looking forward to seeing how this plays out. And with that, that's it for the video. I dare you not to leave a sub to the channel, and stay tuned for future videos. Ciao!